New plant, they say. Yeah, sure. Hello, everybody. Plants and Thousand here. Today, I am going to be talking about some stuff that has been happening with PvZ lately that I haven't had time to cover because I've just been busy doing other stuff and uploading other videos. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wait to make like a big video discussing everything that's been happening lately with PC3 because there's quite a bit of stuff going on recently. And on the background, in the meantime, on the background, I'm gonna be just playing the Lawn Patrol that is rerunning now because yes, indeed, we are back on reruns now because the developers are working on stuff and they decided to bring the people that work on new plants and whatnot to make their own gameplay changes and whatnot to the game. So I guess we'll be waiting a while to see when new content comes out, which, okay, let's explain all of that because I saw some people were very mad and confused about that, and I was like, well, you know, maybe it's not that bad, you know, maybe the fact that they're gonna be trying something new with the game could be really big. So what are they doing exactly? So before this content update that just released today, we had a director's note posted on the forums that was apparently a note from the game director themselves talking about the how PvZ 3 has evolved, for lack of a better word, evolved over the course of its lifetime at the moment. How it's gotten updates to like the progression, to the tutorial, to the way that the game plays, from the plants to the UI and whatnot. And they're talking about how they want to keep pushing the game towards making new experiences that they have not quote unquote done before in other installments of the game. They want to keep the game fresh and new and whatnot. They want to make the game interesting and they want to make the game fun. But they were like, you know, we want to do this, but we cannot be working on new plants at the same time. We brought some of the people that were working on new plants to work on this new gameplay experiences that we're working on. And a lot of people were guessing, okay, well, what's this going to be exactly? It's going to be something like objectives, because objectives is something that the community has been asking about for a while. Are we going to be seeing like brand new adventure modes or like brand new gameplay modes? Like, what exactly are they doing? What's going on? What they said is that for the next few weeks, we're going to be seeing Plan Pass reruns like this one currently with Capture, which I'm not using right now because this layout fucking sucks, but you get the point. I brought the plans for it down here. Like, you cannot blame me, right? So they're going to be doing Plan Pass reruns for the next couple of weeks. They mentioned Thatcher, which, I mean, yeah, that is happening right now. And they also mentioned Snow Conifer, who is also going to be returning by the looks of it. So if you have not gotten these plans yet, now's your chance to get them because they are both really good, especially Thatcher. Thatcher is extremely good in the campground levels. So you definitely should pick it up right now while you have the chance because it's free in the 17th tier of the Plan Pass for free. So like you should definitely pick it up. But yeah, they did say, well, we're going to be doing some gameplay changes and we're going to be testing that stuff out. But for the time being, there will be no new plans, no new like big content, probably no new adventure levels and stuff like that until this stuff is resolved. Because again, they brought a ton of the people from the plan development side, they brought them over to the gameplay development side. So they're going to be working in tandem to hopefully get this out soon. And once they do, they will be going back to regular content updates. I'm going to speed this up because this basically just wins. So at this point, what are they trying to do exactly? I guess what they're trying to do is that they're trying to bring back objectives, right? Because this is something that we've been wanting for a long time, right? We've been wanting objectives for ever now because they were a big part of PvZ 2, where each level will have an objective that you could play. Not every level, but a lot of levels had objectives that would spice up the gameplay and force you to play differently. And that does seem to be what the developers are trying to do with the update, where they want to bring on new gameplay experiences to make playing with new plants more exciting. Because that is something that they mentioned. They like to bring in new plants, but they would prefer having them in experiences where they can shine in, not just like one new plant versus one new zombie type of deal that we've been having for the past few plant passes, sorry. So they want to be doing something unique and cool with that, so that the game isn't just getting stale and boring, which, yes, it has been for a long time now. The game, if you play the game currently, it has been getting pretty boring and stale. Just like grinding the land pass or the daily scores just to get your plants leveled up. Like, that isn't something bad per se, but it definitely gets stale after a long time of just doing the same thing every day. So they want to bring in different experiences to the adventure mode, like brand new challenges and whatnot, or make challenges for new plants that make sense for them. Not just like adding a new zombie every time that you need this plant to counter them, otherwise you're screwed. I guess they want to try and move away from that lock and key aspect of PvZ 3, which has been in the game for like ages now, which a lot of people find annoying. So by driving away from that, instead using objectives or some other kind of gameplay mechanic to make the game more interesting, that will be better for everyone. I love water. This water is really good, by the way. Damn. So what they're hoping to see, I'm pretty sure, is that they'll eventually add in something new to the adventure, because the adventure is probably one of the biggest complaints a lot of people have about the game still. The adventure mode, every level still feels very repetitive. We are 150 levels into the adventure so far, and every level still feels very repetitive and samey. Even if they add new mechanics or new gimmicks to each level, or like tram of the adventure, it still feels incredibly repetitive and stale. It gets very stale very quickly. So by adding something new, like objectives or something else to it, well, it's going to be a lot better, you know? It's going to be more fun to play in the adventure mode and go through the story and whatnot, like whatever the hell they're trying to do with it. At least that's what I think they're trying to do. They've been adding gameplay changes and tutorial changes to make the game more accessible and easier to understand. They're making the game more dynamic and quick. They're making a lot of like really small changes that do actually matter in the long run, especially when they release the game into worldwide. They definitely do want to make it a lot more accessible and fun to play, and like have a variety of game modes for you to check out that aren't just expeditions and long patrol, where the only thing that's really different in these is the zombie leveling that makes them really annoying to play through. Believe me, I have been playing through the expeditions recently. They are a fucking nightmare to get through. But I digress. So I hope that whatever they're working on is actually something that makes the game more enjoyable and unique to play, and isn't just the same repetitive levels over and over and over again. So yeah, for a few weeks now, we've been having these little updates where they added new changes to the tutorial and the UI. They want to make the game more accessible to new players, to make it less grindy, to make it easier to play and whatnot. But they're not really adding in new content that makes the game feel fresh and unique, especially compared to the past few games. So the newest updates that they're working on for the future are hopefully to address this problem, where they can actually add in cool new content that feels unique and fresh for the game, and that keeps the gameplay fresh and like unique and fun. It isn't just like, oh, the zombies are now level 10. Good luck with that. I hate expeditions, man. God, they fucking suck. Right now, we are on Plant Pass reruns again. So again, if you don't have some of these plants, you should get them right now because they're free to obtain and they're very strong. But, you know, I mean, everyone complained about this. The fact that they're doing Plant Pass reruns again really does suck, because we did get one new plant, which is bamboo shoots, out of nowhere. So people are like, well, can they just add in new plants this way? Which, yeah, I know that complaint is something that a lot of people say, but there is the issue of plant animations not being finished, or zombie animations not being there, or the balancing still needing to be done. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and I'm pretty sure the main thing that they want to be doing is making the game feel fresh and unique, not just something that's oh look, here's like a bunch of unique plants, but you can only use them in like a couple levels because, well, the game is very repetitive. So have fun with that. Like, I feel like that's not what they want to be doing with PvZ 3. They want to actually make something that feels fun to play and brings in unique challenges and whatnot, and isn't just a constant barrage of the same level over and over. So that's precisely why they're trying to make gameplay changes and not just changes that are, let's add in a new plant and a new zombie and like 25 more levels are exactly the same every like 2 weeks or so. Because that's boring, right? That gets very boring very quickly. We've seen it with a lot of people recently that they get bored of this. Even I do. So they want to make some new content that actually feels meaningful. I love water. The biggest question at this point is having more content, like more new plants, new zombies and whatnot, better overall for the game compared to having a much more unique and smoother gameplay experience? And to me, the most obvious answer here is that having a lot of content really doesn't help you if your gameplay loop is really boring. Like, again, the same repetitive adventure levels every 2 weeks, 25 levels every week. They cut down on levels because the levels were too repetitive in an update very early on. And they still have a lot of levels, 150 in the adventure levels, that all feel the same still. A lot of them anyways. There's a few that are kind of annoying and interesting, but the majority of the adventure feels very repetitive still. So like that's the problem, right? You have a lot of content, a lot of stuff, but you don't really have a lot of places to use that stuff in, or you get bored of using it because, well, there's not really a lot to do in the game. So I think in the long term, especially for the worldwide release of PvZ 3, it will be better for them to create these new gameplay experiences so that the game feels unique and fresh every time you play it, or every time you come back to it when there's new content, rather than just like continuing to do the same thing of like releasing one new plant, one new zombie, and just calling that an update, because that does get boring very quickly. And again, a lot of people have said this complaint. So for them to take a break from releasing new stuff like new plants, new zombies, new levels, to focus on this is a good thing. Especially after we already seen that they focus on making sure that the game feedback is taken into consideration. They have been listening to feedback, which is a great thing. The developers are very active in on places like Reddit, on Discord and whatnot, talking about the game and saying, okay, yeah, like we hear you guys. You guys want new content, you guys want new plants, new zombies, but we cannot be doing this right now because the core gameplay experience just isn't there. So the gameplay experience needs to be improved so that the overall game is better and healthier, especially for the worldwide release. Once the game comes out, there's going to be a lot of eyes on it, and if it flops like the original PvZ alpha version, where like the game was completely different and weird, it's just not going to leave a good taste on everyone's mouth. And even this version had a really rough start because of that leveling issue, where the leveling was just overpowered and over creepy, and it was just too much, right? The leveling system was too much originally, and then it got changed to not be as impactful anymore, and that was a good step in the right direction. Now they're actually trying to make the gameplay experience better rather than just like adding plants and zombies constantly, which is going to be better for the game overall, especially in the future when the full release comes out. There's going to be like probably a whole new game for you to check out, rather than whatever we're doing right now in the early release, where it's just like, yeah, here's just the lawn patrol. This is what your gameplay experience looks like. Have fun. What's the future for PvZ 3 exactly at this point? From the director's note, they mentioned a lot of things, such as like the fact that they could keep adding brand new plants every week or whatnot. Well, not every week, but like every so often they could keep adding new plants. but they want to make sure that there are new and unique gameplay experiences for the players to check out with these new plans. Like I mentioned before, they want to make sure that the game is fun and unique and not just repetitive as it is right now. So they want to make sure that the overall gameplay experience is good. Which, yeah, that's good. That's a good thing. I'm glad that they're doing this because PvZ 3 as it is currently is kind of boring if you play it way too much. I know I have been doing that and I've gotten a little sick of it. At the same time, they did also mention, look, we're listening to feedback. We want to share these decisions because we know that you guys will probably dislike these decisions at the start when you first hear about them, but in the long run it will be a lot better for us to be doing this rather than going through with our original plan, which I guess is just release one new plant, one new zombie every like 2 weeks or so. So, and yeah, it is better for them to be doing something like this rather than constantly releasing stuff with not much purpose, right? So I think overall for the future of PvZ 3, this is going to be something good. Even if in the short term, like they mentioned at the moment, it's going to suck that we're going to have just like plan pass repeats for like the next month or so, maybe in a little more if the development process takes a while. But considering that the team has been open to sharing what they've been up to recently, I'm pretty sure we will be getting constant updates on what they're working on in terms of the new gameplay experience updates and whatnot. At least I hope they will. I would really like to see or hear about exactly what they're working on with this stuff because I like hearing about game development, you know? Game development is fun. It's also really tricky. So I'm glad that the development team is like keeping people informed of what's going on, right? It is much better for them to tell us, hey, we're going to be doing plan pass repeats again. But it's for a good reason. That will hopefully be better for the long term. Rather than just going silent and being like, okay, well, here's a plan pass repeat. Why are we getting this? I thought we were past that. Where are the new plans? Where are the new zombies? Where are new levels and whatnot? They're actually communicating, and that's really good. They're actually listening to feedback, which is completely different from the PopCap that we used to deal with before, where they would just seemingly not give a damn about how the game felt or played. Like, they're actually trying to make the game better. So anyways, what am I hoping for the future of PvZ 3? Well, aside from the full release, which I hope that happens soon because I know some people are really, really excited to play this game for some reason. The biggest thing I am hoping for is that they just keep continuing listening to feedback. The developers have been very transparent about making their intentions with PvZ 3 clear, which is a good thing because nowadays a lot of developers feel very absent-minded when it comes to communicating with their communities. And I will say the fact that the developers have been kind enough to like tell us what's going on is really good, and I think we should appreciate that. Obviously, still hold them to a standard where if they mess up or if there's something you don't like about PvZ 3, you should be telling the developers that. You should be making your voice heard, because if we as a community don't make our voice heard on what the issues with the game are, they're never gonna get fixed. We made this clear when the first version of PvZ 3 came out, where the leveling just really sucked all the fun out of the game. And lo and behold, the developers actually listened and were like, okay, you're right, we're going to change the game and make it a lot less reliant on leveling. And PvZ 3 as it stands right now is actually pretty fun, even if there's not a lot to do. My hope is that the developers continue communicating with the community and that they continue to show us what they're working on, but more importantly that they actually like use this time that they're taking to develop the game in a meaningful manner. Like that they shouldn't just rush this stuff to continue bringing in updates just because of the plan pass, like making the money and whatnot, right? They should take their time with this to ensure that it's actually good, that it is meaningful for the game, and that it does actually provide more value to sticking around with the game rather than just, oh, brand new plan pass, brand new stuff, brand new gameplay that's just really boring, stuff like that. And considering how the developers act with social media, especially the way that the director's note was quoted, I'm pretty sure, and I am confident that the developers are listening with this stuff, and that they are trying to make a game that feels very much like PvZ, you know, just in general. That the game does feel like a proper sequel to the Plants vs Zombies franchise, and not just like a black sheep, like it has been for ages now. Huzzah! What the fuck? Why did the game just change its difficulty to easy automatically? What the fuck was that? What? Also, they're level 6 now. I just noticed that. Uh-oh. That was not a thing before. Why are they level 6 now? They used to be just level 5 here. Did they change that now? Are there going to be higher level zombies now? In Long Patrol? Oh no. So yeah, the director's note was basically made just for the fact that they wanted to tell us players that, hey, we're going to be rerunning plan passes for a while because we want to work on the main gameplay experience. And I think that's a good thing. The fact that they decided to do that at all is really commendable, and I hope that they keep doing that in the future. And I hope that whatever they're working on for the game is really good and meaningful. That's about it, really. I cannot really complain too much about PvZ3 anymore. It's a fun game. It's just lacking content. Really, that's really the main issue at this point. It's just a little lacking in content. So the fact that they're trying to remediate that now is a good thing. I could not speak there. I have been speaking for 25 minutes now. I really should stop at this point now. Anyway, but yeah, that's going to be the video. I do enjoy PvZ3 and I hope to continue seeing it grow. The content drought will hopefully end soon. I hope once that this stuff is dealt with, the game will hopefully be a lot better and more fun to play rather than what it is at the moment. So we just have to wait and like endure this this little while of no content to ensure that the game is better for the long haul, you know. That's going to wrap this video up. Thank you for listening if you did. Hopefully the PvZ3 tier 3 plan tier list will come out eventually, because I really have been wanting to do that one. And now that I have time for to make that stuff, because there's no new content, it should come out very soon, I hope. But we shall see. So thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.